That pretty much answers all that, right?
Yeah.
All right, you are streaming live the one and only James Ross Quinn.
Well, good evening, everybody, or good morning if you're somewhere where it's morning. I just love the global impact that all of this is having. Uh, my name is
Ross, let me introduce you. Hey,
Okay.
let me give you the hero's introduction that you deserve.
Oh, let's go for it.
Hey, everybody, welcome to our course Spotlight. I'm Kathy Lawson, our Chief Knowledge Officer of the Great Discovery, and it's time for us to learn. So I love these Spotlight. And you know what? You're in for a treat tonight. You know, Ross, I've known Ross for a long time now. He's one of our amazing Great Discovery coaches, but you know what? That's just a small asterisk on his resume. So let me tell you about Ross here, and then I'm going to turn you loose, Ross. Go ahead. So Ross is an international keynote speaker, success coach, leadership trainer, and an accredited emotional intelligence at work facilitator. He is dedicated to helping visionaries increase their impact. His clients include, among others, the Walt Disney Feature Animation, the Toronto Real Estate Board, Nightingale Conant Corporation, the Mankind Project, Cornell University, and Rochester Institute of Technology. Ross is the author of The Love-Based Leader. He has co-authored Speaking of Success alongside Ken Blanchard, Stephen Covey, and Jack Canfield. And additionally, he was the keynote speaker at the world's first convention on The Secret, held in Toronto. Ross has inspired participants worldwide for over 5 decades, whether through his books, seminars, or keynote addresses. His innovative human development techniques empower individuals to recognize and overcome their non-productive and fear-based reactions. This approach helps reduce stress, foster trust, and manifest dreams. So tonight, Ross is going to talk about his course called Get Over Yourself. I love the title. All yours, Ross.
Thank you so much. That's a great introduction. And I just again want to welcome everybody here from wherever you are tonight. Uh, the whole concept of get over yourself, I have to give complete credit to my wife, Christine. She's my business partner, my love, my wife, and my coach. And it's just exciting how many times this particular phrase. I grew up in Southern California. We want to accept everybody. We want to end the differences. We want nothing but peace. My wife, however, is from Chicago. And when she says something she doesn't agree with, she does not know. There's no buffer between thought and speech, and it can be pretty intense. For example, if I wanted to do something she didn't want to do, she'd say, well, get over yourself. And we're not going. And if I didn't want to do something she wanted to do, it was, well, get over yourself. Uh, yeah, and it always felt like a bit of a put down. And so I had probably my biggest life lesson that led to the creation of the Get Over Yourself course, which we've sold over 500 copies. We've never got a return, and it was sold for as much as $500. And I'm telling you, people that have written us and said it has changed their lives. Well, courses don't normally change lives because people can buy a course to have it, and they get through the first 2 sections and stop listening. So it does. No course will help you if you don't listen to it. So we tried to keep it entertaining and short, all in 5 minutes. So 65, approximately 5-minute bits of tools to stress reduction, tools to achieve goals, overcoming self-worth issues, improving relationships, and lots of stories. So it's kind of a fun listen. But more to the point, where did this all come from? I was invited to speak in New Zealand. And if you've ever been to New Zealand, you know you want to go back. Anyone that's out there, you can wave your hand. And I'm telling you, the first time I went to New Zealand was in 1988, and I felt like I was coming home as the plane landed. And I'd been going there for about 5 years. This would have been 1991, and I just finished. Uh, Doing a seminar for Walt Disney Feature Animation while they are, if you're typing, Okay, somebody's unmuted and is typing that. A little distracting to people if you would mute. Anyway, so I'd been invited to Walt Disney Feature Animation because they had a little stress inside the Magic Kingdom working on Beauty and the Beast, which turned out to be the only animated movie ever nominated for Best Picture. And it was quite an honor helping them overcome some of their issues. And I still think I should have gotten a line of credit in there, but they didn't agree. But they gave me a terrific Mickey Mouse watch and Mickey Mouse jacket, which is stuff you can't buy. So it's kind of cool. Anyway, so I was invited down to New Zealand, and I'd been speaking there for 5 or 6 years, and most of the people that I've worked with had worked with me in at least 2 seminars, a 4-day weekend insight training and a 5 or 6 day breakthrough training. And so I was really used to working with people that were really committed to their own growth. And I had just finished a 6-day seminar up in the Waitakaries, this rainforest bush to the west of Auckland. And I mean, these people gave it their all. We spent the whole week laughing or crying, and I don't know who got more out of the seminar, the students or me, because I was just blown away by how powerful people can be when they get past their own limitations, even recognizing that they have any, much less getting past them. And so one day off, and then I was invited to speak to about 200 business people from all over Australia and New Zealand that had flown in to spend the day with the mighty Quinn. Well, I was kind of used to a lot of people that were excited about what they were going to experience. These people, I walked in the room and watched them all sitting down, and mostly their arms were crossed, their legs were crossed. They had the look that said, "Oh God, another American coming down here to teach us how we should be running our business. Been there, bought the t-shirt. I'd rather be sailing." I mean, they're in New Zealand, for crying out loud. Why not? And so I'm in the back of the room, and I don't know how many of you are worriers. I tend to worry. I got that from my mother, and I tend to worry all the time. And so I knew I needed to get my energy up. And I had a really nice introduction. And Kiwis are, if nothing else, polite. And so I got my energy up and ran to the front of the room to a real polite applause. And I had my energy up. I said, "Put on your Tony Robbins coat, really get them excited." And I got to the front of the room, and I don't know why they make bar stools with 3 legs. I don't think that's a good idea in any environment. But as I hit that bar stool with my very best good morning, I mean, I went straight back. I mean, I went hard. My head hit the floor. If I'd have been trying to kill myself by throwing myself at the floor, I don't think I could have done a better job. I was really lucky I wasn't hurt. And I hit the floor with a big thud. The chair went one way, I went the other way. And all these skeptical people, 3 of them jumped up, ran up to me, helped me back in the bar stool. Have you ever been embarrassed? I mean, no, really. Have you ever been embarrassed? Here I am. I'm coming to New Zealand to show these people how they should handle problems. And I start off by falling off a bar stool. I haven't even been drinking. You know, I fall off the bar stool and my head is going nuts. You know how it does when you know you've messed up, and I'm going, dumb guy, dumb guy. What are you going to do now? They were skeptical before. Dumb guy, dumb guy. And I'm just beating on myself. Now, remember, I've gone to New Zealand to show them how to overcome problems and how to overcome their attitudes when their problems go south on them. And here I am. I've got a problem. I fell off a bar stool. I've got an issue. I'm beating on myself. I'm here doing the 2 things to myself that I'm supposed to come to New Zealand to teach them how not to do. So I'm starting to beat on myself for beating on myself. I mean, has anyone ever done that game? You know, I put myself down for putting myself down. I mean, I'm just going absolutely nuts up on the front of the room. And what I don't notice, if you've ever been really worried, is you don't notice the reality around you. All those people that were arms crossed, legs crossed before are sitting forward in their chairs. Their arms are uncrossed, their legs are uncrossed. People in the back rows are standing up. They're not skeptical of me anymore. They're worried for me. I mean, that worked so good, I'm thinking of adding it in purposely to get the group onto my side. But I'm blind to this. I see nothing. I'm only looking inward, which is not where the answers are at this moment. I needed a pep talk from my coach, and it came all the way from Chicago. She knew. I heard her, and the voice, like she was in the room, said, well, that was really clever. They were skeptical before. This is going to be an interesting day. Well, you've come a long way to do something. Get over yourself. And so I did. I just said, okay, I don't want to get beat up when I get home, so I better do a good job. And I started slow, and I used that as an example of how we have issues, falling off bar, how we have circumstances. I fell off a bar stool. We have issues. We put ourselves down for that. And the combination of the way people could relate to that in their own lives, the day got better and better and better. By the end of the day, I still think that was one of the most powerful sessions I had ever held. And I think it motivated whole groups of companies to send people to the promoter that was bringing me, and he brought two promoters to New Zealand every 3 months, me and Bob Proctor. So we were on very strong footing there in New Zealand with the kinds of people that we were attracting in, and we certainly added to it that day. And my lesson to that day, as I really began to get into it, was this: get over yourself when somebody else tells you to. You can't be a put down. I get that. I understand that. But when the things aren't going right in your life and the other guy's all messed up, telling them to get over themselves isn't really the problem, and it certainly isn't the solution. Get over yourself is what you tell yourself when you're getting in your own way, when your issues are overwhelming your behavior, when something goes wrong and instead of dealing with it, you let it beat you. One of my biggest issues is I worry about what other people think. Like I said, I think I got that from my mother, who would cross the street to help to prevent from hurting other people's feelings. And for me, what I found is that what I learned, she was trying to teach me to respect people. But it doesn't matter what she was trying to teach. It was how I interpreted it. And I interpreted that other people's feelings were more important than my feelings. And I think she would have cut off her finger rather than give me that kind of message. She didn't know, because I wasn't going to upset her by telling her. And so it kind of built on itself. And we all developed programs like that, whether they were put on us intentionally, you'll never amount to anything, or unintentionally, you don't ever hurt other people's feelings. And when we've got a program we're not aware of, we tend to justify it or deny that it even exists. But when we become aware of it, let's face it, old programs die hard. What's the normal reaction to change? I've asked that question to over 2,000 presentations in transformational seminars, corporate speeches, and workshops around the world in 13 countries since 1979 when I began this. Yeah, I'm getting old. I'll be 75 in July. And the reality is, the age isn't nearly as meaningful as the content of the quality of information. And if you can't put it apart in a way people can relate to it, it might as well not even be said. And so what we've learned over all these years in all these countries is that, man, we hear all this stuff on TV. For young people, that's what we used to be called the internet now, I guess. Anyway, on TV, about all these differences and all this trauma and all the people judging each other. And, this would be a boring world if we were all the same. Let me tell you, the differences are what make it interesting, but it's the similarities that give us hope. And what I've learned from speaking with dozens and dozens of nationalities, with people from age 7, seriously, to in her 90s, just an amazing woman who came to the course. She said, I don't know much longer I'm going to live, but I'm not going to live it. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired all the time. I want to find another way to live. And she learned to act, and she started to travel in her 90s. She started doing all this. So it's never too late. It's never too young. I love that Sandra has the books for the young people to learn about the great discovery and ways to work with other people. But there's just so many resources like that here in the Great Discovery and in AI Genius that I just can't tell you enough how important it is to get in and just scroll through and find stuff. It just will blow your mind. And if this old dog can learn new tricks, anybody can. But this whole thing about get over yourself, as I said, it's a way to learn, or as my dad used to say, to unlearn. As we've learned something that isn't working, that means we can learn another way. Because none of us were just brought in with all our prejudice and faults and phobias. We learned those along the way, and we did it for survival. You know, if you spoke out of turn and got beat, you learned not to raise your voice, or you learned how to rebel. But it's still all totaled from the same circumstance. But no two people react the same way to the same circumstance. So to blame the circumstance doesn't give us any chance at transforming our lives, transforming our results, and as we typically would say in the business, to learn to grow. Bernard Baruch, an elder U.S. statesman, used to say it like this, and this became the motto for Ray Kroc as well, is people are a lot like fruit. When you're green, you grow. When you're ripe, you rot. And so the warning sign or the flare should come off whenever you say, "Oh, I've dealt with that," or "I've done working on that," or "I've overcome that." No, now it's time to peel another layer off the onion and dig a little deeper. And that's one of the beauties of the Great Discovery. You can flip it onto any one of 60